Okay, welcome to the Deferred Compensation Advisory Committee meeting for August 10th, 2022. Connie Swisher, recording secretary, and I think I'll take the roll call vote. I'm hearing all these dings. Committee members, Chair Meadow Darcy. Here. Monica Alvarez Salas.
Present.
Deborah Spalding.
Here.
Did Ben able to join yet? So I'll come back to Ben. Alternate members, we have Eric Holmes.
Here.
Pete Bolin, which I think you're probably in for Dave Collins.
It appears that way, unless
Okay.
he turns up. Yeah.
Okay, and Janet Severin.
Yeah, it looks like Ben has made it in.
And Ben
I'm
Guzman
here.
is joining
Here.
us as well. Great, thanks. Deb, do you want to do the same thing as last time? Assistant Finance Officer Deborah Spalding will introduce additional participants to the meeting. Or you'd like me to do that?
You can do it, Connie. You know everybody here.
Okay, we have Assistant General Manager Deborah Ocker. We have from Mission Square, Erica Armstrong, as well as Hallis. Hey, good. Anybody else I'm missing? Oh, and Prime Gov, Callum Ross. I think that's it. Oh, and Executive Assistant Shannon Rice in Finance. Okay, Meadow, you can take it away.
All right, thank you. Okay, so it looks like the first item we have is the approval of the May 11th and the June 6th meeting minutes. Did everybody get a copy of those and were they able to review them?
Yep.
So if someone wants to make a motion to approve those minutes, we can take that.
I was not at the May meeting, so I guess I should abstain, or should we do them?
Maybe do them individually. Yeah,
Okay.
do them individually.
So move.
Which one? 511
Well, both.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to approve both the 511 and the 7-6 meeting minutes. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion in a second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Oh, I think I got to do that.
Sorry, that's
Okay,
right.
that's okay. That's okay.
Your job.
We're getting new to this. This is Connie Swisher, recording secretary, taking a vote roll. It would be for the minutes. Meadow Darcy,
Aye.
Monica Alvarez. Sorry.
Okay.
You know who you are.
Who I am.
Deborah Spalding.
Abstain.
And then for how about Pete Bolin for?
Aye.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, so motion passed, correct?
You forgot the PA, but aye.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Ben. Go
Okay.
ahead.
No problem.
All right, so motion passes. Thank you all. Okay, fiduciary responsibilities. So options provided during the actually, you know what, I should actually make sure if there was any other changes to the agenda, or if there's any other items to be added, but don't know on ground if we can even do that, but just want to make sure there wasn't anything else that someone had.
Oh, I should do that.
Very good. Okay.
Go ahead, Deborah. Did you want to say something first?
I just wanted to say that the item that was on the agenda for yesterday did not get voted on by the board. So I think there's going to be another meeting scheduled, or it will go on this September meeting. I'm not sure. But if there were any questions about that report, that was the recommendation of the Finance Committee, you could discuss that as well. I didn't know if there were any questions. I don't think that's on here.
Okay, but I think I have to backtrack a little bit because I do have to do my about the Brown Act. So today's meeting is held pursuant to the Brown Act as amended by AB 361. Staff may participate via phone, video conferencing, and/or through hybrid in-person and remote attendance. We are providing live video and live streaming. Members of the public wishing to make a comment can do so by this Zoom meeting, submitting an email or leaving a voicemail. This information is noted on the agenda located at the Park District's website, www.ebparks.org. And if there are no other questions about the meeting procedures, we can begin.
All right, so yes, it does sound like there was, the action yesterday was, not voted on yesterday. But I don't know if that, necessarily affects the discussion that we were going to have today on fiduciary responsibilities. I don't know if anybody has any input on that.
Well, was it discussed?
At the board meeting,
Yeah.
it was not, the consent
Okay.
calendar did not go forward. Public comment took up a large portion of the meeting, so did not move forward. Any other comments, questions, discussion on this topic? I'm feeling like maybe it's a really large topic that we might want to move a little bit later in the meeting, but because we do have a little bit of business that we could probably take care of. But it's up to the committee how they want to proceed.
I like that idea, Meadow. Let's get the basic stuff taken care of first.
Okay, is that okay with everyone else? Sound good?
Yep.
All right, very good. All right, so we'll skip that topic for now. And so we have Erica for her Mission Square team review and activity update.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see everybody again. So I wanted, before we get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about some changes that we have to the team. So I'm going to share my screen. And I apologize, I'm still getting over laryngitis, so I might cough and I'll try to go on mute for that. My voice is a little crackly, but I'm surviving. So as you guys may know, we've had Hillis attend the last couple of meetings, and you're probably wondering who's this guy and what's he doing here. So I just wanted to let you know some changes. So at Mission Square Retirement, our relationship manager program has grown quite a bit. It doesn't necessarily affect you guys because you've always been one of our large clients with almost, for years having a relationship manager, and we're really making an effort to see the benefits of that plan. And so we've increased the number of relationship managers that we've had. And so as a result, we've had to add some additional staff. So I will be working going forward as the director of relationship managers for the West Coast. So we'll have Hillis Haygood stepping in as the role for the relationship manager. So I'll let him introduce himself, but I did want to just let you guys know that I'm not going anywhere. I will still be involved with the plan. I know you guys have a lot going on. So Hillis and I will continue to work closely together during the transition. And then the purpose of my role is to make sure that I can work closely with the relationship managers and stay in contact with our largest plans. So that's not going to change. I'll be popping in and out even after the transition's complete. But I just want to say, I'm not leaving you, but I just want to say that you guys have been through a lot together as a team. And you've really accomplished amazing things. Really seeing how this plan has grown over the years is pretty incredible. And I know that there's been a few bumps in the road, but you should all give yourselves a moment to pat yourselves on the back for your cooperation and your dedication. And we can't thank you enough. Having an engaged partner is, it makes all the difference in the world. So we're looking forward to continuing with our success for many years to come. Deb?
I just wanted to say congratulations, and yeah, it sounds like a really great promotion, and welcome to Hollis, and glad you're here. Hillis.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. And just before Hillis goes, I would just say that he'll tell you a little bit about his background. He actually joined us in April, and it's like he's a veteran. He's really just been able to come on board very quickly, understanding how things are done at Mission Square, and he takes a lot of time to get to know his clients that he's working with. So no doubt it's going to be a huge upgrade with Hillis, and I know he's excited to work with you guys too.
Well, upgrade is tough because I have some large shoes to fill, but I appreciate that, Erica. And yeah, super excited for you and your promotion. A little bit about myself. So my name is Hillis. My last name is Haygood. I am right across the bridge. So I live in San Francisco. Hopefully once everything, really, really calms down, I can actually come over there and see everybody in person. It would be nice to just meet and shake everybody's hand, but I'm actually not from the Bay Area, so I'm originally from North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, to be exact. I was born and raised there, also went to school out there at NC State University before starting my career in banking, which was also in North Carolina. I did banking and then relationship management before spending the last 5 years, which led me to San Francisco actually as a financial advisor at UBS Financial Services. So I was there for the last 5 years working with a book of clients as a junior partner and advisor for about 75 clients. And then also during that tenure, I was actually a retirement plan consultant for retirement plans that ranged in sizes from startups all the way to the size of East Bay Regional Park. So that's where that experience sort of synergizes with Mission Square. And I was really happy to actually come over here and work and support the people who make our communities thrive. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm always happy to dive into any more details about, I guess, my journey here. But I'm super excited to work with everybody, and I can answer any questions. If not, then I guess we could go over the rest of the team if everybody's ready.
We good? Okay.
Happy.
Excellent. So yeah, so your team has grown. Obviously, Hillis will be. He forgot to use his joke about he had better eyesight and not as much hair in this picture, but that is him.
Oh, yeah, that is true. I promise
yes.
that picture actually wasn't taken that long ago. Just life, I guess life happens fast. So yeah, I got some hair and I lost some eyesight along the way.
So, and then also, although it's not the greatest picture for Marcus Moore, he is still your primary contact for administrative issues at home office or for the plan administration part of things. Kim Hammond is still serving as your retirement plan specialist, meeting with participants and retirees. A new face here is Pete Herber. Pete is actually Kim's boss, and so you probably won't see a whole lot of him. He really works behind the scenes with Hillis and Kim to coordinate the education strategies for the district. And then here's me. I'm still going to be around, working with Hillis and popping in and out, make sure that you guys are well taken care of. And then, of course, you still have Chaz Mansfield, who's the client portfolio manager, who's here to help support you in the investment part of things. All right. So quickly, I want to just go through second quarter education and outreach so we can take a look at some of the numbers, and I'll provide a little bit of context. First off, I wanted to note that the engagement with participants is down a little bit this quarter versus what we saw in the same quarter of 2021. We saw actually almost half of a little less than half, a little more than half of the consultations with Kim meeting with people. Now, we did see a big uptick in the first quarter, so it's possible that people were, well settled, or Kim's just saying it's been relatively quiet. We've also had, though, a lot of opportunities and education that we've pushed out to employees. So maybe through this market volatility, they might feel a little bit more comfortable with what's going on, staying the course, having seen Kim drive that message home for years and years and years. So it's something that we'll want to continue to keep in top of, though, and see if we need to make any adjustments to the way we communicate with participants. We just want them to know that she's still available to meet with them. In terms of participation in savings, we saw 26 enrollments, which I believe lines up closely because of the auto enrollment with how many people were enrolled or hired during that time frame. It is less than last year, but that's just normal ebbs and flows of hiring. This is two incredible changes. And now I know that there was a change in the 401A plan that only went into effect in August. So this wouldn't be captured there. But we saw overall a 20% increase in plan contributions year over year. So there were more people last year than contributed. But if we break that down by per participant, the average contribution per participant went up about 13%. So from just about a little over $1,900 to over $2,100 per person for the quarter, which is really great to see. That means that despite all of the inflation and everything that's been going on, participants still continue to save and see the value in doing it. Roll-ins, the dollar amount was down, but 8 people. So we had a lot of people rolling money in, not a whole lot of money to show for it, which is just sometimes the way that it goes. In terms of financial wellness, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, about our expanded financial wellness center, we had 28 people engage, which is good to see. And that's a metric that we'll want to also focus in on in the coming months and quarters, because we have so much, and we'll talk about the enhancements there. And then we had just about $500,000 in rollouts in the second quarter, 8 people. So similar to the roll-ins, you know, a little bit more dollar amount. That's the good and bad of having such a great plan where you guys have high average account balances, is those dollar amounts can add up pretty quickly. But I think given the size of your plan, $130 million, you know, $500,000 isn't something to worry about. So that was just really high level. Any questions?
Erica, was that increase in plan contributions, is that year over year, or that's not just in the second quarter?
It's first quarter, excuse me, second quarter of 2022 versus second quarter of 2021.
Cool, thank you.
Yep. Yes. And then I think next quarter, what we'd like to do is, we haven't done it because there's been a lot going on, but we'd love to maybe bring out the visual analytics. We've changed the name of it. It's got a different look and feel. But basically what it does is, it's that interactive way that we can look at some of these plan metrics. So you can see them a little more graphically, and it tells a little bit of a better story. So we'll have Hillis do that next quarter. All right, so a lot of the, and I know we don't have a ton of time, but I did want to spend a little bit of time. We've been talking about this for 2 years, and this is our new experience in our digital upgrades. It's happening. It's happening, going live August 29th. And it's a big change. So I think haven't had a whole lot to share, so we haven't been talking a ton about it, but it's time to listen, so to speak. We're making some big changes. Essentially, our entire record keeping platform is switching over. And as a result of that, we're going to have a brand new plan sponsor website, and we're also going to have a brand new participant website. So I think what we want to do today is talk a little bit about what that new experience will look like. And also remind you, though, that it is going to be a change. People hate change, so there's going to be some grumblings, no doubt. Participants will need to re-credential. So when they log into the new website, we're actually changing the website from icmarc.org to missionsq.org. Not a huge deal, because it'll obviously, it'll what do you call that? Pop over. So I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but not to worry. You can still get to the website. But when they log in, regardless of where they go, they're going to need to reestablish a username and a password. And then once they get in there, it'll be a completely different look and feel. So we're going to give you a little bit of a look of that. And then for plan sponsors, it's the same situation. It's not going to be Easy Link anymore. It's a brand new portal. And so re-credentialing will need to happen too. So I guess for Deborah and Deb, I think we want to make sure that I will send you guys an email later on today. We want to make sure that you people who are in payroll are abreast of these changes, and we're having a series of webinars. It's not that you have to change anything the way you do payroll and send over the contribution files. It's just how or where you send them is going to be different, because it's a new website. So we're going to have plenty of training for that, but it's something that's, we feel like one of the most critical components of this change, at least on day one. So we've been sending all types of employer communications, different announcements. We've established our Employer Resource Center, which is sort of iterative, which means that we add new content to it all the time. So we really encourage plan sponsors to stay up to date on the Employer Resource Center. As I mentioned, there's an opportunity now to make appointments to attend live webinars to talk about the changes in how we're processing payroll.
Hey, Erica,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I just saw that Monica had a question. I don't know
Oh yeah, sorry. Thank
at what
you.
point she had one.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. So one of the biggest complaints I got from retirees was just not being informed in advance of these different changes that were happening. They were very, very concerned about Mission Square becoming the new ICMA, and not wondering if this is, phishing, or if it was even safe or secure. So Pete and Dave, I think we really need to target our retirees and give them as much notice in advance as possible, so that they're not hesitant to log into this new site, and kind of explain to them what's going on. I don't know if it needs to happen at our retiree association meeting, but I just want to throw that out. Marcus has been sending me information about the payroll changes, and Deb and Deborah, I've been forwarding them to Sean Lee,
Yeah, I
So-
have been passing them on to Shamli and to Michelle, so
Okay,
I believe they have everything they need.
Yeah,
excellent.
and my
Okay.
last question would be obviously the whole, we're encouraging people to go to the new portal. We want them to update their information there, but the issue we continuously have is how do our two systems speak? So you probably are gonna get there, but I just want to continue to bring that piece up, that I hope we won't have to run reports in order to catch changes, but that we'll be notified when changes will be done.
Yeah, so along those lines, there's two components of that. That's going to be some of the enhancements. So right now, you either everybody gets all of the notifications when somebody makes a change, or nobody gets them. So in the new system, whoever needs to get those notifications that somebody enrolled or increased or changed a contribution can sign up to get an alert. So there'll be the ability to choose. That's kind of the first line of defense there. I'm going to say there's three. The second line of defense is some new reporting, so that you can actually, instead of having to pull the report, you can just automate the reporting and say that we want to report every other Tuesday. I'm just making things up here to talk about any changes. And the great thing about this new program is it actually, this isn't the right slide, but what it does is it actually combines things. So right now there's an enrollment report, there's a contribution change report, there's a loan report. Now it's going to be all in one report, and it can be scheduled. So it's going to be on demand. So that's really an exciting part of it. And then the last thing, and this is, what we're calling day 2, which is not literally the 30th of August. It's, a little bit once the dust settles from this first part of it, is one of the enhancements is that will allow for, if everything works out with payroll systems, to do what we call 360-degree integration, which means that nobody has to pull any reports, that any changes that you make in your system will automatically be uploaded to us. And then any changes that participants make will automatically be downloaded to you. So it's this continuous feedback. And we can do 180 if 360 doesn't work for you. But the whole idea about this technology upgrade is to make sure that we're providing you with a better experience, right? Because we've heard a lot of these concerns or complaints, and we want to make sure that, that we're providing a platform that can keep up with everything. So I appreciate that. And then, and more to come on that, Monica, once we go live. I think our goal is to get everybody communicated, aware of this. And then, I mean, frankly, for the plan sponsor part of things, our most important thing is submitting payroll contributions, right? That's our mission critical number one. And then we'll work to make sure, obviously, everybody can do the other things as we go live.
Pete has a question as well.
Thank you. Go ahead, Pete.
Well, I was wondering how we're communicating this to the employees and also the retirees. And if you could send me a basic thing, I'd be glad to forward it to the Retirees Association, but it would be good to know if you're also communicating directly with the retiree members about this.
Yes.
And also the same applies to the employees. This is something, the district should also be telling employees, hey, heads up, this is the same company. This is all right, as we previously mentioned.
Yep, absolutely. So Pete, that's what this slide refers to, participant communications. We are taking a little bit more of a just-in-time marketing approach. So I think there's been some debate about that, but the idea would be that we want participants to get the message and be able to take action shortly thereafter. So we've mentioned things in our participant newsletters, but what we're really doing is we're doing this blitz leading closer up to the launch over the next, I believe it starts next week. So we'll have emails, banners in account access, messages in account access, an actual mailer that's getting sent to everybody. And then there'll be introductions to the changes on the landing page, whether you go to the East Bay Regional Park Mission Square site, the regular Mission Square site, or you still type in icmarc.org. So there'll be a ton of communications, and we will provide a flyer to plan sponsors to send out to employees. And I'll be happy to send that to you, Pete, and actually be thankful for you to distribute that to the retirees too. You can't over communicate these types of things, but we're really trying to hit people every way that they interact with people. So,
It might
and
be
then
good.
Just so you know, sorry, Meadow, the open enrollment is our heavy communication period, and we're launching all these flyers that we're ready to start sending out. So now is a perfect time to start letting people know anything that you want us to share with them. We hope to have our first announcement out by next week. So if there's anything you want to forward me now, it's perfect timing.
okay. Yeah, I think, let me see if those are ready yet. I think they might not be ready till next week, but as soon as we get them, make sure Hillis forwards it on to you to share with employees.
I think even just a flyer that says
Yeah.
ICMA is now Mission Square. Like, I feel like I haven't seen that yet. And so, you know, having that everywhere, and even if it's on our P drive, if it's an email that goes out from the district as well, just something that's like, this is now this, because I'm still getting those questions too.
Oh, okay. Well, that is a little different. So we did send out, we had a whole employer toolkit, and that was something we really started communicating to participants back in 2021. Was it just last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2021. So we've kind of morphed from the ICMARC as becoming Mission Square Retirement to ICMARC as now Mission Square Retirement to Mission Square Retirement. So this is really more so about the new technology platforms. But we can, Hillis and
Might
I
be a good
can
reminder.
look, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, see what we can get for you Dan, back there for sure. Okay, and then just real quick, I'll run through a couple of things, really high level in terms of the plan sponsor portal. I know a lot of you don't interact with this, so I won't spend too much time, but it is going to be a completely new look and feel. Again, we took feedback from our plan sponsors to find out what were some of the pain points and developed it with that in mind. So still going to see the total balance of all the plans. It'll now show kind of an asset allocation setup, which it didn't have before. It also has, really easy to find information about plan contacts or how you can take actions. And then it also has the plan health dashboard. And this is something that I want to dive into a little bit because it's something probably that Hillis will dive into with you. So right now we have the plan health monitor, which shows a bunch of different dashboards with different metrics, how your plan is doing. But what it lacked before was excuse me, what it lacked before was peer or benchmarking. So now you can actually see how your plan compares to other plans of similar size or similar area. There's different metrics how you can compare your plan. And it'll also talk about plan features. So things like after-tax contributions or auto enrollment, those types of things. And so, for example, we can dive into investment diversification upon, sorry, first glance, 93% of participants in this example are diversified, which is great. But if you dive in a little bit more, you have the ability to see based on age group that really maybe that's not the case for a particular age group. So in this example, people in their 20s are not well diversified. They're well behind their peers. And that's a danger zone, right? That might mean that everyone's in the plus, that these people are in the plus fund, which is not great for them because they may, that's a risk that they won't have enough money at retirement. Or similarly, maybe they just chose an international fund. They're not well diversified. So being able to catch these things early and then developing education and outreach around it is really important. And then here's, Monica, the reporting we talked about. There'll be custom reports and templates, getting your restatements, and then standard reporting that you can actually schedule. So more to come on that as well. So that was a quick overview. I'm going to have Hillis take a couple minutes and just give you a real brief overview into the participant experience. That's probably what a lot of you are concerned with as for that. So go ahead. I'll let you take it away, Hillis.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a preview of what plan participants will see after the transition. Hopefully you'll notice that the participant website is also very clean and well thought out. I think there's a really nice balance of simplicity with this and then just sophisticated features integrated to allow for a great user experience. But this here is a sample of the login screen. This is just a generic version. It will be more tailored toward East Bay Regional Park once we go live. All right, and then when someone is newly eligible and logs in for the first time, they'll be prompted to the quick enroll, which you see here, and they can do it under a minute. At the top, you'll have the ability to switch to a full enroll, which enables you to put everything in manually. But I imagine this is what people are going to use for the most part. because who doesn't like things to be easy? They'll have pre-selected contribution amounts available to incline people to start with a healthy contribution that isn't too aggressive. And then it would also have the qualified default election shown with the ability to select your own investments. All right, and then participants can access their personalized account when and where they want online, in person, or through the mobile app. Any messages or notifications will appear at the top of the screen. Also at the top, you have your total balance, vested balance, last contribution amount. And then up there was also just the rate of return. They're all the accounts front and center. Well, you know, we scroll down. So in this demonstration, I think it's going to go ahead and click on the Am I on Track tool, which will lead us to where you can get advice. So you can think of this as a guide to access your retirement readiness. It just shows a clear picture of the employee's financial situation. Your participants can use the calculator, so you have all that stuff on your right. Just to make adjustments to savings rates and rates of returns, life expectancy, that sort of thing, just to improve their future outcomes. I would say using this tool and then complementing this with the expertise of our CFPs gives everyone in the plan just the tools they need to feel financially secure and prepare for retirement, because it covers inflation, employer contributions. You can adjust your expected rates of returns, and then also the additional sources of income, so Social Security, pension, which I think we'll get into a little bit on the next slide. So the account aggregation part allows participants to bring in all outside accounts into one place just for a holistic view of their financial situation to better assess, I guess, their assessment. But participants can also estimate their pension benefit with easy to use lookup features, allowing them to have a more accurate understanding. And then that'll just make it pretty much better for them to see what they can expect to receive in retirement. And then the retirement readiness analysis also takes into account Social Security, like we saw before. All right, so this is the My Portfolio screen, just a simple way to manage and view your investments. This one's pretty self-explanatory. All right, and then it's going to say change investments, and it'll bring us to what participants can see to change their elections or easily rebalance. So they'll be able to do this online here. We'll also have the availability still to do it with the retirement plan specialist or Kim in that matter. Call us at the call center or use our callback feature, which we'll take a look at towards the end as well. So this is our Financial Wellness Center. So it's an interactive, personalized, and financial education resource that's really getting a big update. It was launched last year, but this center offers the financial planning tools, calculators, videos, articles, and interactive charts that are really tailored and centered around the public service employee. We are using what's called a smart learning technology, and that's to deliver personalized recommendations based on account profiles, data, and then just the financial personality of the participants, so like the different spending levels and that sort of thing. And as the participants participate and include more information about their goals, they'll actually get recommendations, just deliver more personalized suggestions. These suggestions can include things like credit card debt management, budget management. If they have a child, they're saving for college, general saving strategies like emergency funds, investing tips, and then just some retirement planning basics. And this is also going to be available through the app. And then this is the questionnaire in the middle there that you see that each participant will go through just to gain insight. And it's just a series of questions. See, it's like 1 through 10. All right, and then as more information gets collected, the participant can get a gauge on their financial retirement readiness. So on the left is an example, which Erica is circling, is of the score from the questionnaire that we saw on the previous page. So the Wellness Center will have a point system to measure financial health I think this is beneficial because it makes financial health more measurable. I think we all like to see where we stand, and putting a number to something that is generally seen as more subjective just gives more peace of mind when you are doing the right things. And then you can also just see your progress and that score increase. So you'll see your personalized content on the screen as well as down at the bottom, and it'll serve as your hub to receive recommendations. Oh, we were good, Erica. Good to go.
Okay. Okay. We're all set. All right. I
Yep.
think we have a couple questions. Deb and
I was gonna
Monica.
say Monica can go first. She had her hand up for me.
Thanks, Deb. Just real quick, I'm glad to hear you guys are gonna update our EBRPD Mission Square website. I have a quick question. I noticed that employees can only enroll in the 457 online. Is there a reason why we can't have them self-enroll in the Roth IRA or the payroll IRA?
They should be able to do that online. So
Yeah, that would help a lot.
okay, yeah, we can look into make sure it's that functionality is turned on.
Cool.
Deb?
Mine's maybe a little specific. On the website, I've used that financial like retirement wellness tool on the current. It looks like it's pretty similar, but maybe has like even better features added on. And I was curious, I saw something that was like average score and then your score. Is that average across like the entire US population, or what are they comparing you to when they say like?
I believe for that score, it would be comparing it to everybody. We'll get some more clarification once that comes out. The cool part about that too, though, is we can actually bring you a report of your employees and how you compare to, and it's a good question. We'll find out what exactly is it. Is it everybody, or do you have the ability to refine it like you can in the Plan Health dashboard?
Yeah, I feel like something that we've really been wanting to do, but just haven't gotten we've been sidetracked by many things, is more employee financial wellness stuff. So I feel like this would be a really cool tool that we could maybe like, I don't know, get a group together and we could all walk through it together or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We could do webinars about it, or, have Kim kind of demonstrate it. We can try to do some ideas to have, we'll be able to track who does it. We can track it today, but we can maybe do some, some giveaways or, that type of thing, make it really interactive. So it's going to be exciting. It's really gamification will be built into there. So it'll be like what it is there now, but on steroids.
Nice.
I just had a question. So on the Plan Health dashboard, I really like that. I'm assuming that we don't necessarily have access to that, but the district representatives, perhaps finance and maybe Monica, have access to that. I'm wondering, is there a way to sort of bring those reports to each quarterly meeting? I think that would be helpful to, have it be a regular presentation of like, here's where we are, here's what we need to focus on. So I think that would really help educate our subcommittees on, what they need to focus on, or
Yep. So it shouldn't be a problem at all. Hillis can we can actually, we've got super user access, we say, so we can actually go in and manipulate it. And, we could use it and show it and dive in together. So it's not just a static report. Essentially, we just need to be able to suppress the participant information. And then I will see, again, this is all, this is all just been developed. It's not live yet. So we'll see there might be an option for third-party access too. So it's, don't quote, I'm not promising, but I think we might have an opportunity where we could give access to the committee if you wanted it, and it would just suppress participant level data. But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. I just think that would be helpful to, I feel like it would guide our quarterly meetings on a regular basis to be like, here's where we're at, and here's, it would just sort of give us that overall picture, and then we could tailor our outreach and focus.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're excited about, right? We've gone through a lot of things, the other stuff to take care of. And so now as this all gets settled, then hopefully we can dive into this. So it's good timing that we've got this enhanced technology to really help take us to the next level.
Right. Okay.
You did and then talk. That was longer, but I think we're good unless there's any other questions.
Just one more other question for district. I know we normally use our safety fair as a way to do outreach, and I know we haven't done a safety fair in a long time. Are there any plans to do any kind of, safety day or Zoom safety fair or something. I don't know, just something to sort of reconnect. 'Cause I feel like we've lost that a lot on that connecting.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the loss of the health and safety, we don't have that one-on-one interaction, and we can't invite our vendors, and it's way too late to try and coordinate something now. But what I can do is we're reaching out to our individual vendors to see if they want to do a virtual or provide us a webinar or something that we can tag to our open enrollment web SharePoint site. I know we'll talk about it more in our next topic because, as you said, National Retirement Month is in October, so we want to promote that. But I can, Erica, I don't know if Kim would be the person I should speak to, but if she wants to schedule special sessions or talk about a specific topic in between September, October, I could definitely work with her on that.
Yeah, I would say Hillis and Kim can work together with you to get stuff scheduled. Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, so was there any other anything else on that item before we move on to the next item?
No, thanks for
Sure.
giving us some little extra time for that. Hopefully it was helpful to visit, to see.
Sure. We're a little early anyway, so. Very good. Okay, thank you. So the next topic is the National Retirement Security Month. I wanted to make sure this got on the agenda so that we could use this opportunity at this meeting to plan whatever outreach we wanted to do to members. I do think in light of the fact that we don't have a safety fair, that maybe even if it's brown bags, maybe mobile brown bags, or something where we can get out to people, and especially since we have this new website rolling out, we have the name change that I still hear people saying ICMA. So maybe just sort of I don't know, but I do worry about us not connecting with our members for several years now. So I just want to use this opportunity to maybe make this a regular event, in the district is, Retirement Security Month, and we have whatever active, I don't know, maybe that's something for the outreach committee to also delve into, but a little bit more, but definitely ways in which we can connect with our participants, including retirees, because we often forget about how to have activities for them. So yeah, I don't know. So I just want to throw it out there if there's any ideas of how to connect on that.
I'll add just real quick that we are going to have a microsite as we do every year. Unfortunately, we don't have it live just yet. There's a lot going on with the transition, but we should have that early September. And so we will have some interactive things this year. My understanding is we're trying to make it more interactive on the site. So I think we can send more to come, and it's good for you guys to have a discussion. And if you wanted to have the Education Outreach Committee maybe meet, in early to mid September, and then we can all come up with a plan based to complement what Mission Square is going to do.
Well, I think that would be a good idea. Maybe it would be better to do it a little later, late September, early October, after all these changes have been on the ground for a while, so we will know a little bit more what we're dealing with. But I think it's really important that we update the employees, both the committee and the district as a whole, on all these changes. And we still haven't told them, as far as I know, about the rate changes. And I think that's, every survey puts that at the top of the list of what they want to know about. And we also need to give them some kind of update on the district's proposed employer contribution and where we stand on that. I don't see that you have to go into legal, detailed legal stuff, but those are questions that people are asking. And I think the district, whether through this committee or however, needs to let the employees know what's going on with that, because that's what's on their minds.
That is a great point, and I'm hesitating because I'm like, okay, the agenda item yesterday didn't get approved, so we don't yet have officially what our fees are going to be. hopefully we'll have that by the end of the month. But you're right, P, we got to get the information out as soon as it's nailed down. We should have a letter ready to go. I mean, I assume the board will approve it. So maybe we can dig out the letter that we had from back in like December, dust it off. And I think it was in good shape. Does anyone have a recollection of the latest draft where that is? I can dig
Probably
through my emails and see if I
have it. Yeah, I think maybe I'll send what I have as the latest, and then maybe you guys can compare too. I think we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we can doctor up what we currently have and have it ready to go as soon as we do get board approval. That's a great idea.
Yeah, obviously things have to be nailed down before we do it, but it should get both of those updates out to the people so that they know where, just have a basic idea of where things stand. Doesn't have to be super detailed.
Yeah, just to make sure that like we're all on the same page. So the letter that we had before was talking about 7 basis points. The new one's going to talk about 4 basis points, I believe. And you also mentioned that we want to talk to them about like the committee's plans for education and having so I feel like
I know it's so much
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's just, I know. And I keep thinking here too, I'm like, gosh, we've gotten so backed up that like, I remember when we used to have the quarterly meetings, we were like, there's too much to do. And we we're like, packed schedule. And so now I'm thinking, how are we going to do all this without even another meeting between now and our next quarterly meeting? Because we have potential, board resolution, we have this letter to go through. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, we also have to notify them of the R10 move too. I mean, it's
That's true.
I mean, that's I don't think really what they care about is 4 basis points. That's what they're going to see. And then the R10 is like behind the scenes. That's how it happens, but it doesn't impact the participants. But I feel like it's too much for us to bite off and also for participants to understand. And so maybe it's 2 communications, and that the one we want to get out right away is 4 basis points. And you're gonna not have a rebate anymore. And maybe we could, do a preview of like in the coming year, you should expect to see information from the committee about XYZ, something like that.
Almost like
Yeah.
it's like we need a newsletter or something that's going out from the committee that's like, this is what's going on. Some sort of regular communication, but I know in the past we just depended on that safety fair to like, okay, let's just update them on everything that happened this year.
How about a twice a year newsletter? I think from the committee, I think that would really be good, something that they could count on and just keep them abreast of how all these major issues are going on, what changes, if any, have had. It doesn't have to be super complicated, and we can, with the email, we could just, solicit contributions and changes and make it happen without, I don't think we necessarily have to meet on something unless a big issue of contention comes up, which I don't see at the moment.
Right.
But
Yeah.
from what I understand from the surveys, people were still unsure how those fees were calculated. And I think initially our goal was to have kind of a training or some brown bag that we could explain with Mission Square's help on how those fees are calculated and where they could find it in their statement and how often they would see, those fees calculated. We haven't even done that. So maybe we need, like Deb was saying, do one thing at a time. If the board approves the fee, then we talk about the fee and maybe offer a brown bag on where to find it and how it's calculated and all that. And then whatever other change, we can talk separately.
That sounds like a great idea to me.
Yeah, I think we should do one at a time because there's a lot going on. And each time we do one of these, it'll probably stimulate more questions, and that's great too. We can bring those back to the committee and say, hey, we got more questions after we sent this out, or at the brown bag, we had all of these questions, so we can start addressing those.
Okay, so just to be clear for ourselves going forward, so we're gonna Erica's gonna track down the latest version of the letter, and we'll update it so that it's reflecting the current situation, assuming the board approves it at their next meeting. And we'll have a little preview in it where we say, like, in the coming year, you should expect to see more information from the committee on, and we'll just say some general things about what we're looking at, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it would actually be a good advertisement for our outreach activities, so I think as we do this, we can also sort of plant the seeds of how important outreach is, how important it is, because at some point we're gonna have to revisit this and say, we need money for outreach and we need money for training. And so it might be good to sort of lay that groundwork now, piece by piece, to say, we're working on outreach activities and whatever, discussing, whatever budget is needed for that or for training or whatever, and just kind of at least maybe start that. And I feel like we might have done that. Do you remember, Deborah, when we were at the safety fair a while back, and we did that like one pager, like, here's your committee, this is what
what we've done.
It'd be good to have like not all new employees that have come on now, so it might be good to have that letter. I can probably track that down.
Do we not want to mention Mesro? I mean, that's a positive thing that the committee has been approved by the board to do, and it's to benefit the plan. So do we not want to mention that?
Mention what? Sorry, I missed the beginning.
Yeah, I mentioned what?
Yeah.
Oh, Mesero.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we could. I mean, it would be like kind of over their heads, but we could certainly include it. And then the other thing I was thinking, okay, timing wise in this letter, it ties in with like, hey, Mission Square's got a new website. Those communications you're getting are legit, go to the website and it's got some cool financial planning tools in there.
Right. Oh, so much to do, so little time.
Okay, but hopefully the letter we had before is easily tweakable.
Yeah, I found it. So
Okay.
I will make it reflective of just the fee letter, what's going on in terms of taking out the 7 basis points. And then I think you guys can decide if you want to put it all in this letter, or if you want to go ahead and do like a separate communication about, maybe a quarterly highlights or, something like that comes from the committee.
Yeah. And then we'll just circulate that by email. And so people can provide feedback by email. So, because we're just not going to be able to fit in a meeting in time. I don't think.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Is there a sort of deadline that we should focus on? I know we don't know when the board is going to meet, but they did say they were going to try to do a special meeting, and it sounded like maybe one in August. So do we want to try to get this out by September 1st?
Yeah, let's say September 1st. That's good.
Okay. And then maybe we could do another one on October 1st, it's retirement security month, and so yeah, maybe we could just sort of do 2 blasts at once, and then we can move to quarterly. I'm thinking what would be good is, like, since we meet here in August, we could work, like, that could be an agenda item. We work on our quarterly highlights or whatever from the committee, and then we get those decided upon, and then that goes out September 1st or something like that. So there's always something after this meeting that we can get people updated on.
Cool, good idea.
Yeah, and even if there's not something to update them on, then we choose a topic, to talk about.
Yeah.
What is Mesero, or how are my fees calculated? So we could always, fill that in with an educational piece. So do I hear anybody willing to coordinate this letter around and making sure it gets done?
I'll take the lead on that.
Wonderful, that'd be great. Thanks, Deb. Great. Is there anything else people have on retirement security month that you want to talk about?
Just some for Erica. Erica, we mentioned a letter, and prior to that, we did the employee fair and everything else. Anything other organizations do of to do outreach for their employees?
Well, we were going to do some webinars about the fee changes, so we can certainly do those as well. I think, yeah, so normally we would, you send a communication the district could send it to existing employees. We could send it out to existing retirees and also send a copy to Pete's group. And then we would usually offer a couple of webinar opportunities for people to attend to learn more. I might suggest, because it's really just the 4 basis points and there is a new website, that maybe we can kind of do a combined webinar, like learn how to, we can think of something more clever than this, but learn how to use the website and learn about your new fees in this session so that Kim can demonstrate some basic functionality of the new website, just because it's going to be new for everybody, and also show people, talk about it and show people where to get information about their fees now that it is a new platform.
Whatever happened to
Does that sound good?
the RV? What we're gonna get the RV to come in and the little mobile.
I know COVID put a little damper on the
Just looking
on our
for.
trucks. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Somehow people did not want to go, 8 people to a little car for
So-
some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. For the escape room. Yeah.
Okay, well, can we get ourselves on the list for next year? Have it stop by.
Yes. I don't know if we're going to resurrect it or not, but if we do, we'll absolutely make sure you guys get it. Yes.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on outreach and security month? Insurance security month? Okay, and then maybe Pete, might be something, I don't know if you are still having subcommittee meetings or when those are, but it might be a good topic to put on your subcommittee, your outreach committee to talk more about National Retirement Security Month and just what else. I mean, webinars are great. Just trying to think of other ways to connect with like field staff that maybe aren't as computer savvy and I don't know. I know we talked about like an ice cream social or something like that. Some way to get out. I don't know what that is, but some way to get out and meet with people out where they are. Okay. If nothing else on that, we can move to the next item on the agenda, which is the 2022 election of committee chair. So it's been a while since we've done this, and I don't remember. I think it was very formal. But I think what we did was we went around and made nominations, I guess, of the chair, and then does that sound right, Deb?
Yeah, that doesn't. I'm trying to remember. Is it we have a chair and then we have a vice chair? Is that right?
I think in the bylaws
They're
there,
on off.
Yeah.
Years. Okay.
because I
Cool.
went and looked and I was like, is it also the vice? But they're on
Okay.
opposite. And actually this term was up in February, so this one's a little late. So it was supposed to be for February. So next February will be the vice chair.
Okay.
And who's the vice? Oh, it's Dave. Dave is the vice chair.
Yeah, it's Dave.
Okay. Okay, so I think we kept it pretty informal. We just threw out names of nominees and then they accepted the nomination. I guess we put the names forward and I don't know. I think did we use the hands? I don't even remember what we did, but I guess it would be limited to voting members, and unless the voting member's not here, then they're proxy. So yeah. So if anybody would like to nominate anybody, come on.
Nominate Meadow.
Come on, Ben. Don't you want to do it? It's so fun.
Would you be willing to do it, Meadow?
I feel like there's so much to do, but I also know it's a steep learning curve, so I would be willing to do it again, especially since is it 2-year terms? I can't remember now. Is it 2 or is it? Yeah, it is 2 because it's
It was.
opposite.
Yeah, I think it was.
So I'm already quarter way in or whatever. So yeah, I'd be willing to do. I just wanted to see some of this stuff through and get this committee, off and running. So I'd be happy to do it unless somebody else is.
I think we shouldn't count COVID. I mean, COVID, your one term during COVID, let's pretend it didn't exist.
Okay, sounds good.
If you want to continue, I'm all for it.
I'm sure. Anyone else? Any other volunteers? Ben, Monica, Pete, nominate Dave. Deb? Nobody. Okay. All right. So if there's no further nominations, I don't know. Do we make a motion? Do we take a vote? I guess.
I don't know. Let's see.
I think
know
we
if-
would. I think we would take a vote.
You should. Okay. I I guess to err on the side of caution, we'll take a vote.
Oh, wait, looks like Deborah's got the actual,
Hmm?
Oh, you're on mute, Deborah, if you're talking. Or maybe she's on call.
Yeah.
You might be on a call.
Okay. It doesn't really give any information, but it's just worth looking at the bylaws, right? It says there shall be the 3 positions.
My calendar. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find it.
You want to mute
Oh my
yourself?
goodness.
Oh, we
Terrible.
can mute him. There we go. Okay. The chair shall be elected in the even number years for a 2-year term beginning in February. The vice chair shall be elected in the odd number years for a 2-year term beginning in February of the following year. Only in the year 2020, the office of the chair shall be elected for a 2-year term and the vice chair shall be elected for a 1-year term. So that was the startup. Thereafter, they're both 2-year terms. Vacancies of the chair or vice chair shall be filled for the remainder of the unexpired term by a majority vote of the committee. So it's just a majority vote.
Does that mean that we dropped the ball last year and we should have had a vice chair election?
Yeah, if you count through the years, let's see.
I think we
Yeah,
did. Who was the
we
vice
did.
chair before? Was it Spencer? Or I can't remember, but I think we did because I think it was like,
I was thinking we did, that you and Dave were elected at the same time, and that last year we probably should have.
I think, but he was being
Um,
elected to fill the remainder of the term. So what she just read was the remainder. So if, for example, someone is the then you just elect.
Oh, so are you thinking Dave was elected in 2021 and then he's now on the 2-year
Filling the
cycle?
remainder of the term, right?
Okay, got it.
But either way, I think we should do some sort of election to clarify it. I don't know, Connie, if you can maybe on that.
Sure. This is Connie Swisher, recording secretary, taking a vote to keep Meadow Darcy as the chair of the Deferred Compensation Advisory Committee member for the remainder of this year,
No, this would be for the next term.
for the next term. Okay. So I'll take a roll call vote. It would be Monica Alvarez. How do you vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay, Deborah Spalding,
Aye.
Ben Guzman,
Aye.
and alternate retiree Pete Boland. Oh, Pete, you're on mute. Oh, here, I'll unmute you.
Aye.
Okay, aye. And Meadow? Okay, Meadow says yes. She's on mute, but she says yes.
Yes, I'm on mute. Apologize.
Okay, it passes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next order is the NAGDA conference to finalize attendees, costs and approvals. I believe that was also on the board agenda. But I do think we could take this opportunity to figure out a final list of who's going. I'm so sad, Monica, you must reconsider. I know it's like it always falls during the open enrollment, and I was like, yay, Monica gets it.
No, I know. I really want to go, but we have new staff and we're implementing new protocols for open enrollment. So there's a lot of testing and stuff that we have to do. It's just not a good time.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Well, is there anyone else? So who did we have left that wanted to attend? Let's see.
I'm on the list, and it sounds like my approvals are going through.
Perfect.
Be able to go.
Perfect. Okay, so we have Ben Guzman. Does anyone know if any board members are going? There's been any discussion of that?
I have not asked them, but I can send a message to the board members and ask them.
Okay. Especially maybe just the finance committee. I know they talked about
Mhm.
the whole board would be a lot, and I was like, please maybe the finance committee, so we thought maybe they could do that. Okay. Anyone else attending? Eric, were you also attending?
I was on the list, yes.
Okay, you were on the list. Anyone else?
Yeah, I went whenever that was 3-4 years ago now. And what we had originally discussed is that like each, when you're new on the committee, you would get to go and that we would, so that's why I'm not going, not that I don't think it's important.
I think you should go. I mean, I think it would be good to get any of the updated information, I think, so much might have changed in those couple of years. I do think it would be good to sort of get a good chunk of committee members to go.
Maybe I could do the virtual one and then just because there were a couple sessions that looked really interesting, like the there's one like about improving your plan participation, and there's one other one that I thought would be good. So maybe I could do the virtual one.
Okay.
It's also a tough time for me with budget season.
Sure. I understand. Okay. And Deb Ocker, are you going to attend?
You know what? I'm going to look at my schedule again. I think the virtual would be the only one I could attend, but I will try to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Monica, maybe you want to check out the virtual. Sometimes even if you sign up for the virtual, they'll send you the recordings after, and then you can like watch them in all your free time, But yeah, it might be good to have at least the recordings from that. And as well as I know Pete, you and David said you were not going to attend, but I don't know if the virtual option might be good.
What were the dates again?
I think it's September.
It's the 18th through the 21st.
Yes, 18th through the 21st.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be away those days. I can't do that.
Okay. Okay. Perhaps I'll check in with Dave and see if he wants to sign up for that.
Yeah, so it just has the dates here, the website. It was easy. I just typed in NAGDA and the conference pops up if anybody wants to look at it.
Okay, so as soon as we have that information, I know my approvals are going through. It sounds like Ben's are going through. And then Eric, are yours, did you get yours submitted? Have you heard anything back on it?
I have started submitting, yes.
Okay, we'll get to it, Eric. Okay, so all right. And Janet, did you were you able to attend it, or did you want to attend one of the options? Maybe she's dispatching. Well, Ben, oh, there we go.
Sorry, no, I'm here. I may be able to do a virtual. I wouldn't be able to attend the conference.
Okay, all right. I'll put just a maybe on the virtual. So what I'll do is I'll check on our approvals at this point, and then once we get those going, then I'll make sure to get the virtual information out to the rest of you. And that way you can at least choose that option, but at least we have the paperwork started on the others. So, okay.
So just Meadow, so 3 people attending. I think, do the bylaws talk about expending funds, and just is there a vote that needs to happen so that this is a formal action of the advisory committee? Let's look and see.
I think we did do the vote already.
Oh, you did when you said all the members. Okay, so now we're just narrowing it down to 3 would attend in person and possibly 3 to 5 virtually.
Correct. Which
Is that
might
what
be,
you have?
yeah, let me think. I think I only have 4 potential virtuals. And then I don't know about the board, obviously.
And then the board, yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, and yeah. And we can also, with virtual, it could also be something where we share the recordings, we have those to be shared with others, so. Okay. All right, any other action on that item? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to wait a minute, now we gotta go back to item number 2. which was the fiduciary responsibilities and the options provided during the 7-6 meeting. Okay, so let's see. So if I can wrap my head around where we left off. So essentially, there was a question about the fiduciary responsibilities of the committee, of this deferred comp advisory committee, and how we wanted to set up the committee in the future. And I know there was differing perspectives on very, very different perspectives on how to move forward. One thing that I just wanted to say in looking at some of the things that have happened over the last couple of months, I do think, personally, I do think it's good to have the board to act as a fiduciary. I think we're talking about participant money, we're talking about a lot of money. And I think it's important for people to feel as though there is a high level authority that maybe they don't see as biased one way or another, making that decision. And that, the Deferred Comp Advisory Committee could remain as an advisory committee, and we could continue to make recommendations to the board. And I think there will be times when there are, hopefully with district staff, we will always come to some sort of resolution on what our recommendations are and best practices and things like that. But in the rare event that there was a difference of opinion based on maybe the needs or the needs of the district, or financial responsibilities of the district, or I don't know, something to that effect, that there would just simply be a recommendation from the committee as well as a recommendation from staff, and then the board would decide, or at least board finance committee, whatever, could decide, make the recommendation to the board. It's just a thought. I'd definitely like to hear other people's opinions on what they think the pros and cons of different options are. Yeah, my thought process is, I think having the board as a fiduciary is an important role for them to play, especially when we're talking about participant money. Certainly I think we could accomplish that role as a committee. But I think it's just proved itself quite difficult in the last couple of months to ensure that we have all of the information that we need and access to all those resources. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. So I wanted to kind of open it up for everybody else to get their thoughts. Go ahead, Deb.
Yeah, I guess a bunch of thoughts that are popping in my head. So one is just talking about the board as the fiduciary. So I know I've read and heard that it's not a best practice to have the board as the fiduciary. And as I'm trying to peel back in my mind, okay, why would that be? So there must be some conflict of interest. And or maybe it's just that they can't be involved and can't have the understanding that's necessary in order to be a strong fiduciary. Erica or Hillis, if you have any perspective on why is that not a best practice? You guys know?
I missed the first part. Why is not the best practice?
Having your board of directors be the fiduciary for your retirement plan, I've read and heard, is not a best practice. And I'm trying to figure out if it's because there's a conflict of interest there, or if it's really that it's too much for you need someone who has more experience and time to really devote to the issue, or what's the reason for that not being a best practice?
Yeah, I think it's not that it's necessarily a conflict of interest. I think it's partly sort of what is a best practice, right? So it's not like that's a bad practice, it's just the better practice, if you will, would be, establishing a committee that is representative of the people in the plan, right? And so sometimes a board doesn't actually think about that. Like not every board are employees of the district, right? So it's something that's being made, maybe they're from other agencies, that type of a thing, or they're retirees, or maybe they're not in the plan. And I think that in terms of that, that's sometimes why it's not viewed as a best practice. And that, that's what all of the things recommend, that you have a committee that's set up of people who are plan participants. That's almost always one of the most important factors on there. And then also, that they're a little bit more in tune with what's going on with the employees and the participants within the plan.
So that's why you wouldn't have your board members be on your deferred comp committee. And is that the same as the fiduciary responsibility issue?
Well, I mean, I think part of it is the question of whether you can completely shoo your fiduciary responsibility, right? So even though you aren't acting in a fiduciary capacity as an advisory board, I mean, I also don't know the answer to the question necessarily.
okay.
Let me stop trying to talk around it.
Okay.
I can find out a little bit more about why that might be
Yeah, I feel like
considered
we're like
more of a,
really, it's really coming down to this, like, should it be our board? And for some reason, I know it's not a best practice. Like, I've definitely seen that in multiple places. And I want to understand why, so that maybe it doesn't apply in our situation. Maybe it's like, oh, because our board is like this, it's okay.
Does anyone know, does the
Oh.
board have access to the 457? For the benefit of their employment? Anybody know?
There are a couple board members who are participants, and then of course we have 2 board members who are retirees who at one point were participants, and I believe one of them at least is still, I think.
So they do have access to it. So they are potential participants then, right? So whereas Erica was saying that other boards, may not be participants in the plan.
They're not all participants. I think only one is an active participant. And then the other 2 are not participating, but are drawing down possibly their, they have money in the plan, they're drawing down, but they're not actively. Monica, you probably know the answer for me.
Yeah. I believe there's only one. I'm trying to think of which is the one participant in the board. Obviously we have our 2 retirees that are previous participants. It is a benefit that's available to anyone because you can defer your earnings to ICM or Mission Square. See, I still do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's utilized as much by the board members. I'm just referring to the memo that we got. What was it where we got Deborah laid out the advantages and disadvantages. It was dated June 3rd. And I think in option 3, which is the option that we're discussing right now of keeping the board as a fiduciary, it would require other actions like making the CFO the permanent chair of the advisory and the appointed representative from the finance department. So it's not just keeping the board directors as the fiduciary, but there'll be other recommendations to that. Now, I think who spoke to the advantages and disadvantages was our legal record, Jason. And he's not here, but I can't remember. I don't know if the notes have that information.
Yeah. Hillis, it looked like you were going to say something. Did you have some insight there into the?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna kind of add on to what everybody was saying, but I think it really depends on who comprises